You reach into your freezer and pull out a bag of frozen chicken. Maybe it's nuggets for the kids. Maybe it's breaded fillets for a quick dinner. Maybe it's those pre-seasoned strips you throw in the oven when you're too tired to cook properly. The package looks clean, professional. The brand name is familiar. There's probably a picture of a red barn or a happy farm on the label. And you never questioned it because why would you? It's from a major supermarket. It passed inspections. It's been in your freezer for months, and everyone's been eating it just fine. But what if I told you that bag you're holding failed laboratory safety tests that should have kept it off shelves entirely? What if the chicken inside is so contaminated with dangerous bacteria that food safety experts refuse to feed it to their own families? What if everything you thought you knew about convenient, affordable frozen chicken has been a carefully constructed lie? Chicken used to be special. Your grandmother bought it from a butcher who knew the farmer. It came from a real bird that lived a real life. You could see the quality in the meat itself, the color, the texture, the way it cooked. There was nothing hidden, nothing artificial, nothing engineered. But that world is gone. Today, in modern Britain, frozen chicken has become something unrecognizable. It's been industrialized beyond comprehension, processed in facilities that prioritize speed over safety, injected with solutions that make it impossible to know what you're actually eating, and contaminated with bacteria that our grandparents never had to worry about. And the companies producing it are counting on you being too busy, too trusting, too overwhelmed by daily life to look closely enough to see what they've done. Here's what they don't want you to know. Independent laboratory testing conducted on UK frozen chicken products revealed contamination rates that should terrify every parent in this country. Over 70% of samples tested positive for Campylobacter, a bacteria that causes more food poisoning cases in the UK than any other pathogen. But it gets worse. A significant percentage also contained Salmonella, E. coli, and antibiotic-resistant bacteria that can't be treated with standard medications. These aren't isolated incidents. This is the norm. This is what's happening inside those innocent-looking packages in your freezer right now. And the brands selling them know it. They've seen the reports. They understand the risks. But they've made a calculation that profit matters more than safety because they know most people will never find out until it's too late. Let's talk about the first product you need to remove from your home immediately. There's a brand of frozen chicken nuggets that dominates UK supermarket freezers. You've bought them dozens of times. Your children ask for them by name. The packaging shows golden, crispy perfection. The marketing promises quality and convenience. But when those nuggets were tested in an accredited laboratory, they failed on multiple levels. First, the chicken content. What's advertised as premium chicken breast is actually mechanically separated meat, which means it's been scraped off the bones using high-pressure systems that pull in cartilage, connective tissue, and bone fragments. It's then mixed with water, sodium phosphates, and binding agents to create something that looks like chicken, but is actually a reconstructed industrial product. Second, the contamination. Samples tested positive for Campylobacter at levels high enough to cause severe gastrointestinal illness. And here's the truly disturbing part. This contamination doesn't just affect the nuggets themselves. When you open that package, when you place those nuggets on your baking tray, the bacteria spreads to your hands, your countertops, your oven. You're contaminating your entire kitchen with a pathogen that can hospitalize vulnerable family members. But this brand continues to spend millions on advertising, showing happy families and convenient meals. Because as long as they can maintain that image, most consumers will never question what's actually inside the box. The second product is one that markets itself as healthy, as a better choice for families who care about nutrition. It's frozen chicken breast fillets, individually wrapped, with labels that use words like natural and wholesome and pure. The packaging shows a pastoral scene, green fields, blue skies. Everything about it is designed to make you feel good about your purchase. But laboratory analysis revealed something shocking. These fillets contain up to 48% added water and solutions. You're not buying chicken. You're buying water that's been injected into chicken using industrial equipment, mixed with sodium, phosphates, and preservatives, and then frozen to lock in that fraudulent weight. When you cook these fillets, they shrink dramatically because all that injected liquid evaporates or leaks out. You're paying chicken prices for salt water, but the deception goes deeper than fraud. Those preservatives include sodium nitrite, a compound that converts to nitrosamines in your body when exposed to stomach acid and high heat. Nitrosamines are classified as probable carcinogens. You're feeding your family a product that's not only dishonest about what it contains, but potentially dangerous in ways that accumulate over years of regular consumption. And this brand knows it. They have food scientists. They understand the chemistry, but they've decided that shelf life and profit margins matter more than transparency or safety. Now let's discuss the product that specifically targets busy parents, the ones who are trying to do their best with limited time and energy. It's frozen chicken strips, pre-seasoned, ready to cook straight from frozen. The marketing is relentless. Quick weeknight dinners. Kids love them. No hassle. And exhausted parents buy them in bulk, grateful for anything that makes dinner easier. But when these strips were subjected to laboratory testing, the results were devastating. Not only did they test positive for multiple bacterial contaminants, but they also showed evidence of antibiotic residues in the meat. This chicken came from birds that were given antibiotics not to treat illness, but as growth promoters and preventative measures in overcrowded factory farm conditions. When you consume these residues regularly, you're contributing to the antibiotic resistance crisis that's becoming one of the most serious health threats facing humanity. Your body develops resistant bacteria that won't respond to treatment when you actually need antibiotics. Your children's developing immune systems are being compromised. And all of this is happening because this brand prioritizes fast growth rates and cheap production over basic safety standards. They raise thousands of birds in warehouses where disease spreads rapidly, pump them full of medications, and then freeze the contaminated meat and sell it to families who trust that someone, somewhere along the supply chain, actually cared about whether it was safe. Just 2 years ago, something happened that should have shaken consumer confidence in the entire frozen chicken industry, but it was buried so quickly that most people never heard about it. A major supermarket chain issued a recall affecting over 1 million units of frozen chicken products after routine testing discovered listeria contamination. Listeria is particularly dangerous for pregnant women, elderly people, and anyone with a compromised immune system. It can cause miscarriages, stillbirths, meningitis, and sepsis. The recall was announced quietly, through official channels that most consumers never monitor. There were no major headlines, no televised warnings, just a small notice that affected products should be returned for a refund. But here's the question that should haunt you. How long had those contaminated products been on shelves before the testing happened? How many families had already consumed them? How many people got sick and never connected their illness to that chicken dinner? And most importantly, how many other products currently in freezers across the country are carrying similar contamination that just hasn't been discovered yet? The fourth product is especially insidious because it hides behind patriotism and national pride. It's frozen chicken marketed as British, with Union Jack imagery and references to supporting local farmers. The price point is higher, positioned as premium, and consumers pay it gladly, thinking they're making an ethical choice, supporting British agriculture, getting higher quality meat. But the reality is far more complicated and far more cynical. Due to labeling regulations, chicken can be labeled as British if it's processed in the UK, regardless of where the bird was actually raised. This particular brand sources chicken from industrial operations in Thailand and Brazil, ships it frozen to the UK, processes it in a British facility, and then legally labels it as a British product. The chicken you're paying premium prices for comes from factory farms with standards that wouldn't be legal in the UK. The birds were raised in conditions that would horrify you, treated with chemicals that are banned in European agriculture, and processed in facilities that operate under completely different safety protocols. But by the time it reaches your shopping cart, it's wrapped in imagery of British farms and traditional values, and you never know you've been deceived. The company counts on your trust, on your assumption that British means better, and they exploit that trust for profit while giving you meat that failed to meet the standards you thought you were paying for. Here's something that will turn your stomach. Food scientists conducted an experiment where they left samples of heavily processed frozen chicken products on plates. Outside, dogs, animals that will eat almost anything, approached the plates, sniffed the chicken and walked away. Many refused to even taste it. Others took one bite and immediately rejected it. These animals, operating purely on instinct, recognize something that humans have been conditioned to ignore. The smell, the texture, the chemical composition of these products triggers a warning response in creatures that haven't been convinced by marketing that artificial means normal. What does that tell you about what we've accepted as food? The fifth product might be the most dangerous of all because it targets the youngest and most vulnerable. It's frozen chicken dinosaurs, those shaped nuggets that children adore. The packaging is colorful and playful. The product is specifically designed to appeal to kids. Parents buy them thinking they're providing protein, something relatively healthy compared to other processed foods. But laboratory testing revealed a nightmare scenario. These dinosaurs contain not just bacterial contamination, but also alarmingly high levels of sodium and a cocktail of additives including artificial colors that have been linked to hyperactivity and behavioral problems in children. The chicken content itself was less than 60% of the total product. The rest was breading, fillers, water, and chemicals designed to create flavor and preserve shelf life. And because children often eat these products multiple times per week, they're being exposed to cumulative levels of additives and contaminants that were never properly studied for long-term effects on developing bodies. This brand has built its entire business model around appealing to children and exhausted parents. They spend enormous amounts on marketing and product development to make these dinosaurs irresistible. But they spend virtually nothing on ensuring that what they're selling is actually safe for regular consumption by the children they're targeting. But there's one more product that deserves your attention, a bonus entry that's been quietly growing in popularity over the last few years. It's frozen chicken marketed as restaurant-quality premium breaded fillets that promise gourmet results at home. The price reflects this positioning. The packaging is sophisticated. Everything about it suggests that you're getting something special, something far better than standard frozen chicken. But investigative testing revealed a disturbing truth. These fillets failed microbiological safety standards on multiple occasions. The breading contained trans fats that manufacturers are supposed to be phasing out due to cardiovascular risks. And the chicken itself showed evidence of being sourced from birds that were fed growth hormones banned in the EU, but still used in countries with looser regulations. This brand is exploiting your desire to provide something nice for your family, charging premium prices, using sophisticated marketing, and delivering a product that's actually more dangerous than cheaper alternatives, because the contamination is hidden behind a veneer of quality that makes you let your guard down. This isn't just about 6 bad products. This is about an entire industry that has lost its way. It's about a food system that prioritizes efficiency and profit over basic safety. It's about regulatory bodies that are overwhelmed and underfunded, unable to properly inspect and test the volume of products flooding the market. It's about supermarkets that negotiate with suppliers based on price rather than quality. And it's about corporations that have calculated that the cost of occasional recalls and settlements is less than the cost of actually ensuring their products are safe. We're living through the early stages of an antibiotic resistance crisis that could make routine infections deadly again. We're watching rates of foodborne illness climb year after year. We're seeing children develop health problems that previous generations never experienced. And frozen chicken, that convenient staple sitting in freezers across the country, is one of the major vectors for these problems. But you're not powerless. Now that you know what's happening, you can make different choices. You can seek out brands that publish their testing results, that prioritize transparency over marketing. You can buy fresh chicken from butchers who know their suppliers. You can reduce your reliance on frozen processed products and invest time in preparing real food. You can learn to recognize the warning signs of low-quality chicken, the excessive liquid that leaks during cooking, the rubbery texture that shouldn't exist in real meat, the chemical smell that your instincts tell you to avoid. These skills matter. This knowledge protects you. More importantly, you can demand accountability. You can pressure supermarkets to require proper testing and transparency from their suppliers. You can support regulatory changes that put safety before trade deals and industry profits. You can share what you've learned with other parents, other families, because every person who understands the problem becomes part of the solution. The system is designed to keep you ignorant and consuming, but you don't have to cooperate anymore. You can choose awareness. You can choose to trust your instincts over marketing. You can choose to protect your family even when it's inconvenient or more expensive. And that choice, multiplied across millions of households, has the power to transform an entire industry. The chicken you serve tomorrow doesn't have to be the same as the chicken you served yesterday. You just have to decide that your family deserves better than what these corporations have decided is good enough. You deserve real food, safe food, honest food. And settling for anything less is a choice you no longer have to make.